But the criteria for, we've learned a little bit more about it, speaking to, as Dave said, Alec Whiteman, who's on the board, about the voting and about how members come to the table with their artists. And I'm assuming that they have to defend them. They put them all out there, but it seems so, like it's almost intangible without any specific criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right?
yeah. You kind of hit to the core of our show.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things I've done to help try and like define this undefinable thing and to try and kind of laser focus in on what makes a good inductee, one of the things we do on our show is focus on an artist and go through criteria that I have kind of reverse engineered, because they don't say anything outside of like, it's they changed the world or whatever. And it's like that, just give me something tangible. So what I put together was like, okay, I think you don't need to have everything in every category, but like, if you do well enough in them, maybe cumulatively, you have a good shot at getting in the traditional way, at getting voted in by the larger voting body. And the categories I have are recognizable songs, classic albums, critical acclaim, commercial success, longevity, influence, artistry/skill, and my last category, maybe the most important one, does my mom know who they are?
Yeah.
and those, like, I think you look at any inductee any year and they'll do relatively well in those categories.
With longevity, do you mean like they're still relevant now? Like the Go-Go's put out 3 albums, Guns N' Roses put out.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
How long was, exactly. Like, how long was their kind of imperial phase? Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
Sure.
Who used that? Yeah. Like, how long was their imperial phase and how impactful was it? So it's like some bands are still putting out albums, but they're putting out albums that people aren't buying or listening to, or that aren't making as much of an impact as those 3 Guns N' Roses albums.
And like, also speaking of the Foo Fighters,
albums.
I think longevity is one of the categories where the Foo Fighters does really well, because they have had a career that has spanned 25 years and counting. Like, there was no break. And then you talk about the Go-Go's. Yeah, the Go-Go's had 3 albums, kind of burned bright and fast. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it took a long time for them to finally get in. I think if they had a longer career, it would have been more of a layup.
Yeah, we talked to, let's lead into your next month, because we talked with Gina Schock, and she knows, in her mind, it was the documentary. You have August became, what was it?
August.
Like
August rolls right off the tongue. Doesn't it just roll right off the tongue? Couldn't have been like Augustumentary or something. I mean, who knows?
That's better.
It's not. There isn't a good one. It was a bad pun, and there was no way around it. And you did.
It was a good month, though. We got to watch. It was a good month.
We talked to a lot of editors.
But that was great. And I think that seems to, like, Tina came out with her documentary, and the Go-Go's, and
Clarence Avant,
and So it seems to really help.
There's definitely a documentary effect that happens, if not immediately, eventually. And the Go-Go's,
I think that's what kind of the Nina Simone kind of
right.
That,
yeah,
I think
that was maybe a little bit of a
her.
delayed effect, but like for sure helped her out. And going into like our predictions, our draft for who we thought the nominees were going to be, we all had the Go-Go's at the top of our list because of the documentary. Like they were clearly in the zeitgeist.
Only one of us got them.
That's true. That is true.
In their draft.
Who would that be?
No, actually, it was neither of us. It was neither of us. Because we both wisely picked, Kristen picked Jay-Z.
I picked Jay-Z.
Because we knew those were like, that's the thing, is like, if you follow this stuff, you kind of know to some degree what's going to happen. And knowing that the Go-Go's had such a big year with that documentary.
I also 100% thought I picked the Go-Go's when I said that. I do not remember who I drafted at all. Who won? Did you win the draft, Joe?
Ultimately, I won.
Okay.
Yeah. I had Tina and the Foo Fighters.
I truly do not remember who I drafted. I know I had Jay-Z, but I thought I might have also had the Go-Go's.
Sorry.